everyone to another rant, and today we are going to get personal. We are going to talk about one of the greatest authors in Indian literature, Chetan Bhagat. Okay, so say what you will. If you find him good, great. If you find him problematic, it's fine. I won't judge you. But for me, Chetan Bhagat is such an influential man. He changed my life in so many ways. Chetan Bhagat is the reason why I muster up the excitement to watch every isekai and be entertained by it. Chetan Bhagat is the reason why I find Rent a Girlfriend to be a masterpiece. Okay, you guys are wondering, hey, why haven't I talked about chapter 383 of Rent a Girlfriend and why it is so trash? No, it's because I've read Chetan Bhagat's Half Girlfriend a million times. Okay, and there is one problem with Chetan Bhagat's writing that we need to talk about, okay? But regardless, we have to talk about how Chetan Bhagat is a miracle worker because miracles like live action adaptations surpassing their source material by a million times happens only in Chetan Bhagat's books. Okay? So take 5 Point Someone and Three Idiots for an example. So 5 Point Someone is a novel Chetan Bhagat wrote way back in 2004 and it got adapted into Three Idiots, which is a cult classic, while 5 Point Someone, if read today, is garbage in every standard, okay? But since it was released nearly 20 years ago, I will give it a pass, okay? But Chetan Bhagat's real problem with literature comes in this book called One Night at a Call Center, because our boy here, Chetan Bhagat, has this habit of inserting himself into his story. It's not even breaking the fourth wall, it is more annoying, okay? So, the book starts off with a cringe-ass prologue of our author Chetan Bhagat sitting in a goddamn train, raking in the success of his first book, suffering with the worst writer's block of all time. My guy is in a total dilemma, his mind is chaotic, he doesn't know what to do, and then enters a very pretty girl who is just like, hey, your first book is pretty average, and then he is just like, okay, you arrogant woman, what do I do? And then she is just like, I am going to tell you a story about 4 people, Sham, Isha, Varun, Priyanka. So interview these people and then write a story for your next book. And then he's like, okay, I relate to Sham the most, so I am going to write a book after interviewing Sham, okay? And mind you, Sham here is like every other protagonist of a Chetan Bhagat book, okay? You can tell because these protagonists are broken, they don't know what to do in life, and after experiencing love for the first time, they are still hung up on it, worse than Kazuya in Rent a Girlfriend, okay? And this is the reason why I enjoy every isekai, because every Chetan Bhagat book is nearly similar. It's just the same protagonist with different names and different looks, just wandering in different universes, okay? So, our Sham here is again broken. He is just hating on his job. He is just hating on the world. And then he's just hating on his ex for leaving him. And then he is just like, okay, you know what? This pain in the neck author asked me about my life. So why not? I tell him. And Sham's story is that he gets a phone call from God after being stuck in a ditch with his friends where there is no signal. And God tells Sham that, hey, confess your secret. And Sham is just like, okay, I'm still in love with Priyanka, but why are you making me say it in front of her? And then God is just like, hey, okay, just stand up to your boss, make your life better, do a startup or something, and just confess your love to Priyanka and win her back. And Sham does all of that. And in the end, when Priyanka is just like, Sham, will you marry me? And then Sham, because you need drama in this, story, Sham is just like, Priyanka, no, I am my own person. I reject you. And then finally, okay, not even in a half page, Sham comes to his senses and then runs behind Priyanka, and Priyanka is just like, yeah, man, okay, whatever. Since you're so desperate, I'll just accept it, okay? And you won't believe the climax of One Night at a Call Center, okay? It's because these 4 guys, they work at this customer care center, right? So they call up the Americans and then they are like scaring them, saying that, hey, your computer would get hacked if you don't talk politely to us or something. It is so weird. And then finally, if this wasn't enough, we get a cringe-ass epilogue too. And then, our Chetan Bhagat is just like, okay, lady, thank you for giving me this idea. And, I will surely write a story on this. And then this lady is just like, okay. And then he is just like, okay, are you Isha? Are you Priyanka? And then she is just like, I am nobody. And when Chetan Bhagat gets down on the train, this lady simply disappears. Okay, she is not found anywhere, and by that logic, our author here met God. Okay, this is such a huge feat. Okay, he should achieve enlightenment or something, but no, he doesn't, because it just gets worse from here. Okay, look, Two States is decent. Okay, I will give it a pass because it is a good 2.5 out of 5 stars, and the movie surpasses the book as always. Okay, but the worst of it comes in Half Girlfriend. Okay, because here Chetan Bhagat inserts himself into the middle of the story. And if you guys don't know, Half Girlfriend is about our protagonist Madhav here, who is a Bihari boy, okay, typical village boy, does not know how to speak in English, and enters this elite Delhi academy through sports quota, and then meets this angelic girl Ria. Now, this might happen in real life, okay? The way Madhav is just like, oh my god, why do people speak English here? I feel so gawar, whatever. Okay, but the way it's depicted in this book feels so cringe and unreal, and I just hate it. I wanted to rip out all the pages that contain Madhav's inner thoughts, okay? It just irritates me so much. But Madhav meets Ria, who, after being friendly with him, receives the most derogatory comment, because Madhav here is just like, hey, fuck me or fuck off. And then Ria is just like, bro, it doesn't work like that, okay? You know, you can't just expect me to forgive you after you say something like that to me. And then Madhav is just like, Ria, I'm sorry, we should be friends. And then Ria is just like, fine, man, but I am going to be leaving the college in like few months because I am getting married, because family pressure or whatever. And then Madhav is just like all torn up and broken, and he becomes this silent saint of Stevens, and then, you know, gets a job in Microsoft, okay? And then finally he meets Chetan Bhagat of all people, okay? Like, my guy, Chetan Bhagat, you are a former IITian. You graduated from IIM. If anything, you should be the last person to be giving relationship advice, okay? You should be the last person we should be seeking therapy from. But regardless, Madhav, after meeting Ria for the second time in his hometown, where Ria is just like, hey, since Bill Gates is visiting your rural village school, I will help you, you know, devise an English speech that will inspire Bill Gates, okay? And then finally Ria just disappears, okay? And then Madhav goes to Chetan Bhagat, and Chetan Bhagat is just like, here, Madhav, take Ria's journal. Where did you get the heroine's journal, you pervert? Okay, and then Madhav just reads Ria's journal, and then he's like, oh my god, she is a bitch. And Chetan Bhagat is like, what kind of language is this, Madhav? Go help her. And then Madhav is just like, okay, Chetan Bhagat, fine, let's go to New York and let's tour every bar in the New York City until I find Ria singing there. Okay, and the other characters call him out on this craziness, okay, which is great. But Madhav does not improve as a character, okay? And then finally, he finds Ria, and Ria is just like, oh wow, dude, I am moved by your desperation, so let's get together, okay? And then finally, if this wasn't enough, Chetan Bhagat had to come in the epilogue too, okay? And then he comes to Madhav's school, okay, and he's just like, oh, this is easily one of the best elementary schools I've ever seen. And how does Madhav get to construct a school like that? I'll tell you, it's because, remember his speech to Bill Gates, okay? Madhav said that, Mr. Gates, there is one time where luck actually helped you. It's because you were born in the USA, the land of opportunities, and I want to provide the same opportunities to my kids here. And Bill Gates was so moved by it, he donated millions of dollars for Madhav to develop the school. Okay, and finally Chetan Bhagat is just like, okay, Ria is so elegant, and what does elegant stand for? You know, perfect eyes, sharp nose, perfect features. Okay, and then finally the book ends. Thank God. But this is not the end of hell, guys, because we have got Chetan Bhagat's amateur detective writing series, okay? And here also he inserts himself into the books, okay? Like, we start off with the first book in Chetan Bhagat's detective series. It's called The Girl in Room 105, and it revolves around our protagonist, Keshav, who is a graduate from IIT, but he is currently jobless, okay? Because all protagonists in Chetan Bhagat's book are like that, and he meets Chetan Bhagat on a plane, okay? And to give a call back to one night at a call center. He is just like, oh, Chetan Bhagat, I also graduated from IIT and I have a story to tell you. And Chetan Bhagat is just like, not again. Please let me sleep. And then Keshav is just like, okay, just forget it. And then Chetan Bhagat is just like, oh no, I am so overdosed on caffeine and I can't sleep and I'm actually going to regret not hearing this young lad's story for the rest of my life. So why not hear this story? And finally Keshav is just like, okay, so my story is that I am hung up on my ex-girlfriend Sara, who seems to have moved on with Raghu, and then on Zara's birthday I called her like 30 times being drunk and whatever, and then she was murdered when she asked me to come visit her. Yay! And finally Keshav is just like going all the way to Kashmir to investigate Zara's death, and Chetan Bhagat had to insert himself again into this, and then he is just like, oh wow Keshav, you are so brave, you are such an ashik. And our Keshav is just like, wait for the climax, okay? The police in this book are so incompetent, which, okay, it's kind of accurate, okay? But then they just allow this amateur guy to do all the investigations, which is shittier than CID. Oh my god, okay. And then finally, Keshav finds Zara's killer. Who is Zara's killer? Zara's fiance Raghu. Why? Because Zara cheated on Raghu with an army officer. Okay, so Raghu is just like, I had to kill her. And then finally Keshav is just like going to Zara's grave and being like, Zara, I unlove you. Okay, and then he opens a detective agency by the name Z Detectives with his best friend Saurabh. And finally we get the worst sequel of all time, okay? One arranged murder. Now this revolves around our boy Saurabh here, Keshav's best friend, getting married, okay, to this girl Prerna, who owns this food startup. And finally, like on the wedding night, he finds Prerna dead, pushed off the terrace. So our Saurabh here is very sad, and our Keshav here is like, hey, let's investigate. Now I am going to give you all the spoilers in this book, okay, because I don't want you to damage your brain or your eyes or your soul in general by reading this, okay? So the mystery goes that Prerna is dead, okay, and her dad is very, very conservative because Prerna actually had a twin sister, Anjali, who was there all this time, and Anjali is the real killer of Prerna, and they couldn't find fingerprints on Prerna because Anjali and Prerna are identical twins. And why our protagonist couldn't tell them apart is because Anjali is thin and Prerna is fat. Okay, God forbid this movie gets made, okay, based on the book. Then how are you planning to cast the actors, okay? Don't tell me you're going to CGI them, because that's just going to be worse than anything we've ever seen. And also, finally, how does Keshav solve this mystery? It's because he gets close to Anjali, okay, like to the point of sleeping with her and gets love bites all over. And then he just notices this same pattern of love bites on another man, okay, that being Anjali's uncle for some reason. And then he's just like, Anjali is the killer. God, okay, and then finally mystery is solved. Oh, okay, then thank God there is a third book for this, and this is the best book Chetan Bhagat has ever written, okay, considering the hell we've been through. So this book is called 400 Days, and it revolves around this 12-year-old girl, Sia, who is kidnapped and missing, and people actually presume her to be dead because she's been missing over a year now, but her mother doesn't give up hope. So she approaches Keshav, and then Keshav is just like, okay, let's start investigating. And the mystery is actually compelling, and it is handled with the sensitivity it requires, which good job, Chetan Bhagat, okay? And then it deals with the problems of broken families and, Saas Bahu drama, but doesn't be as jarring as Ekta Kapoor, so I'll give it a pass for that. And the killer is also somebody you never saw coming. It's this family priest who is mentally retarded, who is just like, okay, I think myself as Ram, and Sia is actually my Sita, so, I kidnap her, and then she is my wife and stuff. And obviously he kind of, assaults her and everything, and Keshav just saves the day, which, very good, okay? He kind of does not end up with Sia's mom, who he is in love with, so because Sia needs both of her parents and she is going through therapy, so Keshav being involved with Sia's mom would actually break that peace, okay? And that is actually good writing. So this gets a 3.5 out of 5 stars, okay? But then after that, we get this book, One Indian Girl. Okay, technically, One Indian Girl was released much before, but I don't have a problem with it because it is a decent book, okay? It is at least better than the feminist yes queen, boss queen bullshit Hollywood throws at you with, movies like Captain Marvel or shows like She-Hulk or whatever CW did with Superwoman, okay? So by that standards, One Indian Woman is actually an enjoyable book. The problem is with the marketing of One Indian Woman, okay? Because One Indian Woman tells the story of, one Indian woman. And what did Chetan Bhagat do to get into the psyche of one Indian woman? I'll tell you, he got his arm waxed. Okay, like going to the parlor, putting wax on his arm and pulling it off. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, okay, but I choose to believe it is true because the book is written like that. So, obviously, it is being marketed like that. And why is it being marketed like it is such a big deal for Chetan Bhagat to write a book in female point of view? Because a lot of other authors have done this, okay? Like, you take Amish Tripathi, for example, okay? He has written Sita, the warrior of Mithila. Do you think he marketed the book like, oh, to get into the point of view of Sita, I had to go to Ayodhya, and then I had to go to the Amazon forest, and then be in Vanvas for like 40 years, and then get the, premise of the book? No, okay? And the problem with Chetan Bhagat inserting himself into the book is so grave, okay? Let me explain it to you like this in anime terms, okay? If Hajime Isemaya, the author of Attack on Titan, inserted himself into the story, like, he is just like, okay, Levi Ackerman met me and I gave him the advice to tell Mikasa that, hey, chop Aaron's head off, keep your feelings aside. And Levi Ackerman was so obedient that he went and gave the advice to Mikasa. I am so great. Would you still think Attack on Titan was a masterpiece? No, right? Or taken in simpler terms, if J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, actually inserted herself into the story being like, hey, Harry, I am J.K. Rowling. I am the neighbor of your Aunt Petunia. And so I've been observing you like a creep for a very long time, and so you need to get over Dumbledore's death, maybe warm up a little to Snape, and then actually defeat Voldemort. And Harry is just like, oh, Miss Rowling, you're so inspiring. Let me do that. Would you still think Harry Potter is such a great series? No, right? And this is what Chetan Bhagat does with at least like 70% of his books, and it is so irritating. It makes you rip the books off, okay? So, coming to One Indian Girl, it is fine. I'll give it like a 2.5 out of 5 stars, okay? And then Two States is actually pretty decent too because it is saved by its movie adaptations, which thank God Alia Bhatt, thank God the songs, thank God Arjun Kapoor for being decent, okay? And then we get Revolution 2020, which is pretty accurate because Chetan Bhagat became a, oracle now. He can predict the future now. And he is just like, okay, I will make sure that a revolution happens in 2020. And this book was written in 2011. So in 2020, we got COVID. Revolution 2020. Okay, I'll give it a pass. And even The Three Mistakes of My Life is also a good book because it is adapted into Kai Po Che. And thank God Sushant Singh Rajput. Thank God Rajkumar Rao. I like this movie. So let's also give it a pass, okay? But then I thought his reign of putting himself into his books got over, but I was hit with his latest self-help book. Okay, and it is about the secrets to leveling up. Okay, and basically Chetan Bhagat in the acknowledgement section or whatever writes that, hey, this is not a random Instagram motivational reel that you scroll and forget about, which in reality is exactly that, okay? Because you just look at the contents of the book, focus on your fitness, okay? Get enough sleep, meditate, don't put your feelings. Okay, this is just so cliche in terms of self-help because it is portrayed much better in the other self-help books, like, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck or whatever, okay? And then this book starts off with an even more cringe ass prologue, okay, with this delivery guy, Viraj, entering Chetan Bhagat's home for Zomato delivery, and Chetan Bhagat, being Chetan Bhagat, this famous successful author, this judge of a very garbage dance show Nach Baliye, is just like, hey, I am stalking my delivery guy and he is not moving, and I am starving, and if this was the Stone Age, I had to get my own meal, but thank God this is not the Stone Age. Okay, and then finally Viraj enters Chetan Bhagat's, exquisite mansion, and then Chetan Bhagat is like, hey, you did not move from your location. Where were you stuck for the past 30 minutes? And he snatched his food, okay, and then Viraj is like, okay, sorry, sir, I went to fill the petrol, and Chetan Bhagat is just like, no, I don't believe you. Why don't you come on in and tell me your story? Who has that much time, okay? Especially not for a guy like you. And Chetan Bhagat mentions that he has a meeting at 3, okay? And Viraj is just like, sir, I know you think I'm overweight and whatnot, but my girlfriend broke up with me 8 years ago, and Kismat and whatever. And then Chetan Bhagat is just like, no, it doesn't happen like that. It's just, oh, you thinking this mindset and whatever, and you working as a delivery boy, it's such a respectful job, and then he gives this stupid ass self-help book, okay? Why do you do this? Okay, look, I am fine if you actually enjoy this aspect of Chetan Bhagat inserting himself into the stories, but this is very cringe, okay? At least to me. It's not even like, the She-Hulk level of irritating where she suddenly breaks the fourth wall and then is like, hey, Marvel writers, you didn't do a good job in writing the climax. Or it's not even as funny as Deadpool breaking the fourth wall because he does it in a spectacular way, okay? But Chetan Bhagat doing this is very weird. And if you still enjoy his books, then fine. Yes, I acknowledge that he is a good author because I haven't written novels myself. So obviously I'm in no position to say that. But even I know that you're not supposed to insert yourself into books or even write your characters in such a derogatory cliche way. So here's an advice. If you are writing another self-help book, please don't fall into the uncle's curse of actually blaming that, hey, Young India wants this. Hey, self-help book about fitness, it is something you've heard a million times. This book is not worth your time, okay? And so, at the end of the day, I think that you do you, okay? But seriously, this problem has to be changed. And also, I just hope you become a better writer if you are watching this video. But reading Chetan Bhagat's books and trashing on them is a guilty pleasure for me, okay? And Chetan Bhagat has given me a lot of strength, okay? I was able to enjoy the second season of Promise Neverland because I read One Arranged Murder. So I at least owe him that much. And whenever you hear that, okay, Chetan Bhagat is writing a new book, it is a gamble whether you're going to get a decent story or a very trashy one like Half Girlfriend. So it has been a lot of fun just going through his books and picking out the criticisms and then just trashing it out. And thank you so much for bearing with me on this rant. It means a lot that you made it till here. You are a tough candidate and you can achieve anything in life. So once again, I can't thank you enough. Take care.